Welcome to Tuesday's Tips from So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and let's talk covered buttons. Covered buttons are a lot of fun to do, and they are very easy to do. They're called self-covered buttons if you go to buy them, or they can be called upholstery buttons. And, well, they come in many different sizes, from very small to very large, and the way they're put together is all basically the same. And what they're designed for is so that you can customize your own buttons to match whatever you want it to match, and you can use any fabric to cover them. When you get the package of buttons, you will notice on the back there will be a circle drawn. That is the size of the fabric that you need to cut out. What's really nice with covered buttons is that you're able to use your own fabric and you're able to use a placement. You could get a tiny little flower for a very tiny button, or you can do a very large floral right in the middle of the button. And to do that, just take your template that you cut from the package and cut out the center. Now, you don't have to be too fussy about cutting the center out because you are going to use the outside line. This gives you a chance to figure out what you want in the center of your button. Then after that, you're able to place it down and cut out along the outside. So you have your fabric piece cut out. There's a couple of things you need to consider. If it is a very lightweight fabric like a chiffon, you might need to double the fabric, or you can put a lightweight interfacing on it. Another fun thing that you can do with the very large buttons is put a little padding on them so the button is a little bit padded. And you will cut the same size as your first circle. And then you're going to want to temporarily just stick it on the metal. And I just use a little bit of a glue stick and then I press it on. It's only going to hold it temporarily, just until I can cut around, and I'm going to follow the shape of the button and take off this extra. So now the quilt batting is just on the top of the button. You don't need the batting to come inside because you don't need the extra inside. So now we need to put the fabric on top of the button. Make sure it is pressed and has no wrinkles in it. The next thing is slightly dampen it, because wet fabric will stretch a lot more than dry fabric, and then when it dries, it's going to shrink and it's going to be nice and tight. You're going to center the fabric over top of the button. And you'll notice along the back of the button there are these teeth. And you just need to take your fabric, tug it a little bit, and you're going to have it grip on the teeth. Start and do your two sides and then the next two sides, and then from there, tuck in and continue all the way around, making sure all of the edges are nice and smooth and that there isn't any wrinkles or folds. If so, you can lift it up and reposition it and tuck in all that fabric right underneath the teeth so that it gets a good grip. The next stage will be putting the back on. So this is the point that you really make sure it's exactly the way you want it, because once you put the back on, it is permanent. The back, you'll notice a ridge, and that ridge along here is where the teeth are going to sit in. So it is not going to come out. So the ridge part needs to go down and the flatter part is going to come up. Match up the hole, just push the button together. So the back should be completely smooth and there should be no little opening. And once it's in there, your button is done. This is the same method for a little small button all the way to a very large button. Now for the little buttons, it might be a little hard for you to get your finger in there. So you can tuck the fabric in with a pair of tweezers, or you can push it in with a chopstick. Even a toothpick will work. So you can cover these with fur, velvet, silk, satin, absolutely anything. You could even cover it with your own fabric that you've put through your printer. Imagine the possibilities. Thank you for joining me today on Tuesday's Tips from So Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe, and as always, come on back. Let's see what we're sewing next time in the sewing room. Bye for now.